Lawona, Curse of the Blood Song. This was a different kind of siren. This one was new, and she didn't sit on the rocks and sing to men to their death, and she didn't need savage men to hide along the beach to do her killing. She possessed all the power and all the strength she needed to do her own killing. The light in her eyes grew brighter and stronger with every kill she made. She enjoyed it. She lived for it. She was good at it. The witch had glided over the water in a mist, matching every move of the ship with a move of her own, until finally she had stopped, hovering over the white sheets of the masts, and glared down at hapless men trapped above the depths of the water. Brave men cowered and cringed at the sight of her. She was a veil of white in a wedding dress. Glowing red eyes cut through the darkness like a knife as thick black acid dripped from her mouth. Now Vasquez silently prayed for the warm embrace of a heather's fire. All of the men had seen her as she glided over the waves of the ocean, and we had stood in horror and watched as she approached. The broad blade of the sword was in my hand as the fog-like vapor took shape, and the body of a woman became solid. My arm was drawn back, and I swung with all the strength and power that I possessed. I listened to the sound of the steel as it rang out loud and clear, and then grinding to a halt against the strength of her body. Light, bird-like ribs had broken and shattered under the force of the blow, but the flesh had become thicker and stronger, stopping the impact of the blade halfway through her body. The black acid of her putrid blood dripped to the floor and ate at the metal of the blade, and as the witch turned and looked at me in the glow of her eyes, I could see clearly the hot burning embers of hell. Men, women, and children blistered and burned behind those eyes, and they clawed at the deadly orbs trying to escape. As the handle of the blade and a small section of melted steel fell to the hard wood decking at our feet, a terror I'd never known before went through me as the talons of her bird-shaped hand emerged from the flesh. The claws that she drew back sent a shiver through my soul as her hand shot forward, and I never saw the hand of the seaman until after he stepped forward. The blade in his hand shoved deep into her chest, then exited the other side as the black acid began to run down the blade, hissing, popping, and burning, just before the claws ripped into his face. The seaman spun to look at me in horror and disbelief as the talons tore fresh flesh from bone, and the screams that followed pierced through the slapping of the waves and the cry of the gulls.